everybody, Ron from Back in the Fairway here, and this is my weigh-in on the current debate with the Players' Championship happening this week on tour. The whole world is abuzz with should it be a major or not, and I'm going to take a little different view on this because I'm an older player. I've been around for quite a while. And back in the day, a major was a major, and the rest of the tournaments were just kind of fillers to get to the majors. That today, the way the PGA Tour has marketed itself, is no longer the case. Ever since they went to the FedEx system with the playoff at the end of the year and all of this craziness, the tour has really upped the game on individual tournaments. There are still some fluff tournaments on the schedule, don't get me wrong, but a great example is, one of the big tournaments growing up was the Honda Classic. And that tournament has now been a little bit overshadowed due to the fact that they've got the World Golf Championship Series going to Mexico this year. That drew all of the major players down to Mexico for the week, and they all took the week off afterwards. Not necessarily a bad thing, but the whole dynamic of the tour has changed dramatically over the last, I will say, 5 to 7 years. You have gone from, these 8 weeks leading up to the Masters of being, okay, everybody's going to relax, take the time off, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you've got players playing out up to about 2 weeks before the Masters, then they'll go into Augusta. They're still playing those majors. The TPC, should it be a major? Well, frankly, all of these tournaments should be majors at this point. You go back into the 20s, 30s, and 40s, those tournaments, those majors were the ones that the professionals traveled across the ocean for. The best players in the world now play every week on the PGA Tour. There's not really a reason to define anything as a major anymore, except for to try to give people a chance to win more majors. We're so hooked on numbers and this and purse size and everything like that, that honestly, it's more about who's playing in it and what kind of crowd it attracts. If you've got a tournament that has the top 10, top 15, top 20 in the world playing in it, it's going to be a major caliber tournament. If you've got a tournament that has the top 100 in the world playing in it, it's like a super major, and that's probably going to start something new is, oh, well, Augusta's a super major. It's pointless. Okay, look, the fact of the matter is every week out on the PGA Tour, 120 to 150 of the best players in the world tee it up, battling for that first place check. It's what the game has evolved into. It's what we see every week on tour. They've stretched the season out to go year-round. They've moved tournaments from here to there and moved things around. The fact of the matter is the PGA Tour has created 40 weeks of major tournaments everywhere around the world now. You've got players going to Mexico. You've got players going to Asia. You've got players going to Europe. You have got tournaments all over the world that people are just dying to play in. That said, no, they shouldn't add any more majors to the rotation. They shouldn't really pursue making purses much larger than they are now. And what I would fully suggest is let's reinvest some of that money down into the lower tours, or this is a wild and crazy thought. How about you support the ladies on the LPGA a little bit better? There was a major story breaking that, a couple of months ago, the total purse for one of the tournaments hit was like $1.5 million or something like that. And it ended up being pretty close to what the winner was taking home on the PGA Tour that week. That is where we're having a real struggle. I realize the sponsorship dollars for the PGA Tour are much, much bigger. They're they're more televised. They're this, they're that. But the bottom line is, if you want to grow the game and make more people interested, you need to spread that money out and get it to people that need it to grow their games. Start a sub PGA Tour. Have them go in the week after the PGA Tour event or something like that and play the same courses and play the same this and the same that. And that way those tournament or courses near there have a support system built into your minor league system to get more players up to the PGA Tour. Right now, that's one of the things that's really lacking. There's no real superstructure for smaller tours. There are a lot of smaller tours out there, but there's no real support behind them. If the PGA Tour took two purses that were $5 million and made them $4 million and passed that money down to a smaller tour, that would fund that tour plus for a full year. Let's get that movement going. Let's forget about talking about more majors and bigger purses and this and that, because that's all irrelevant to the game. I think you should probably take that cash, that $10 million purse for an event is great. But the players aren't playing for that cash at that time. They are playing for the title. And that's the part that everybody is missing. Majors are majors because the players want them more than anything else on the planet. The Players' Championship is a great tournament, but it's not a major. It's not an Open. It's not a U.S. Open. It's not a PGA Championship. And it certainly isn't a Masters. It's a great tournament, but all it is a tournament with a cool hole and a big purse. I'll liken it to this one. It's like the Waste Management at this point. People love watching it. People love going to it, but it's just another weekly stop on tour. So, do I think it should be a major? No. Do I think the PGA Tour needs to really look at their structure and decide how can we attract more people to the game? Absolutely. First step, get rid of the ginormous purses like the Players is featuring this week. Cut it back to a regular amount. That way players have more of a chance to make a living rather than, the one guy that wins gets $2 million and the rest of them get, enough to travel there and back. But honestly, you can do so much more with that money, including possibly cutting your TV sponsorship or offering free online streaming with ad support. Things like that will help grow the game so much more than adding another major. Another major will get an asterisk in the record books if somebody ever gets close to approaching it. But no, there's 4 majors every year. It's the Grand Slam. Grand Slams don't have 5 steps. Sorry, guys. Anyway, that's my thought on this one. No. There's 4 majors. Unless you're going to replace one of them, you're done. That's my thoughts. Anyway, would welcome comments down below. And if you have any questions, fire away. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.